So welcome everyone to Patagonia Community Yoga Wednesday night, hump day, and happy St. Patrick's Day. So glad you're here enjoying some good stretching with me. Hopefully if you have partaken, it was a while ago, and you don't have a lot of beer sloshing around that belly. Because we're actually going to be moving a lot in tonight's class. We're going to do a lunar flow. So a lot of times we do sun salutations. A lunar flow is a little bit more juicy, a little bit more lingering. And that choreography of poses together, we're going to do several times. And eventually, at first it might feel like there's a lot of stuff going on. And eventually I think it'll almost feel like a trance where you can allow yourself to stay for a couple breaths if it feels really good, especially in like hips. We're going to get into a lot into the hips in that lunar flow, some into shoulders, actually a little bit into the ITBN in one of the stretches. So, you know, that kind of movement and trance. And really feeling into the extent of your body, almost tracing the lines of your body and really becoming aware of this physical capsule that we're in helps us to distinguish, I think, in yoga that we are both our body and something more, something greater than. And I think the physical practice of yoga allows us to feel that physical capsule. A lot of times going through the motions of the day, we can disconnect, I think, from our body physically. And so hopefully in tonight's practice, you can allow yourself to drop back into your physical body. Maybe it's not where you want it to be, right? Maybe it's tighter in certain spots, but it's still, I think, a really good practice to find compassion and to find that find some distinguishment between the physical self, the mind self, and then that kind of greater self. All right, so as you'll see, I've been sitting in Badakhanasana, soles of the feet together, knees open out wide. And if you are a little uncomfortable in this pose, a couple things you can do to help. You can sit up on a blanket. You can put 2 pillows or 2 blocks underneath your knees. You know, maybe they're a little bit higher. You can even let your hands cradle the outside of your knees and hold them so that gravity doesn't just pull them down. And then sitting here, make sure you have a good connection of both sit bones onto your mat or onto your blanket. And then if your hands aren't cradling your knees, you might bring them down to your ankles and pull your spine up nice and tall. Take a deep breath in and then exhale through your nose, keeping your lips sealed. Then close your eyes. Inhale. Imagine as though your spine is growing a little bit taller with each drop of air that comes into your lungs. And exhale through your nose. I almost feel like my spine is shrinking as I exhale. And it's that grounding upon that energy as you empty out. Just drops you right to the base of your spine. Inhale. Feel that prana vayu, the lifting wind. Spine grows tall. Exhale through your nose. And feel all of that energy start to settle. Almost like you were boiling and then turning off water. Inhale. Spine rises, chest lifts. Slow exhale through your nose. Your energy starts to settle, becomes a little bit more calm, becomes a little bit more grounded. 2 more rounds of breath. Keeping your lips sealed, feeling the breath, being very conscious of it as it enters your body, and very conscious of the path out. Drawing your navel in at the very bottom. Last time, inhale. And then exhale, we're going to take this a little bit deeper, coming into a fold. Now, if you are taking a modification and you have your hands on your knees, or this feels really tight, it might be a very subtle fold. It doesn't have to be deep. Maybe you want it to get a little bit deeper, and you can use your hands either underneath the outside edges of your feet to draw your chest down. As you take your fold to whatever depth feels good, try and keep an elongated spine so that you're not rounding in your low back to achieve what you feel like is a really good forward fold, but instead keeping an open chest so that you allow a lot of air to still flow in and out. Chin slightly lifted. Feel as though you had two hands pressing your hips down to keep your pelvis grounded. All right. And then on your next inhale, slowly undo your forward fold. Come back up to seated. And then you're going to keep your left leg in, pull the heel in closer to your pelvis, and extend your right leg out to the side. We're going to move into Yantrasana. And this is where we're going to use our strap for the first time tonight. So make sure that you have your strap nearby. Again, you can be sitting up on a blanket, or you can also use, especially if your hamstrings are tight, that pillow or blanket to gently prop underneath your extended knee. So that way you're not overextending your hamstring too early in the night. All right, so take your strap. Hopefully it's green because it's a festive day. Yeah, it doesn't matter. And you're gonna just lasso it across the bottom of your foot. All right, now I'm gonna put both sides of the strap or your scarf out to the front side and bring your right forearm down to the inside of your leg. Keep your left hip grounded down. Inhale, bring your left arm straight up. As you exhale, see if you can relax your ear down to your shoulder. Spread your palm and let it drop just straight back behind you. So you feel an opening at first in the chest, from shoulder head to shoulder head across your collarbones. Now imagine as though you are palming a basketball, which my tiny little hands can only use like kids' basketballs to do that. But that's how big you want to stretch your palm. And then imagine you're receiving that ball. You have to let your arm drop back behind you. So it's an active, integrated arm, right? We don't want like a loose noodle trying to catch a ball. Instead, it's actually reaching and holding. Again, relax your neck. Let your ear drop down so that you're isolating the stretch, really starting to feel it in just certain parts, bringing your awareness to very acute sensations in your body. All right, now pull that left hand back up so it's parallel with the floor, and then spin your palm to face towards your toes. Now this is where we're going to reach forward and grab both sides of that strap that are lassoed around the bottom of your foot. So you're going to grab it out in front of you, and then let the strap slip through your hands as you let that outside arm arc up overhead. And then once you get it overhead, you can start to walk your hand down the strap towards your toes. And so you might recognize this pose now and always find that you're straining to reach your toes. Well, what I want you to do is pull on that strap, activate your arm, draw it back, maybe lift your gaze underneath your bicep, and now press with your bottom arm into your leg. You should feel a pretty strong sensation of side stretching all the way from that left outer hip up through your armpit and out through your fingers. But instead of shortening, condensing, maybe even rounding in your torso to get to your hand to your foot. Let's use the strap to gain a little bit more opening in our chest tonight. And then I like to relax my neck. If gazing underneath your bicep really helps you stay integrated in the pose, by all means stay there. Otherwise, you can let your head hang down. Maybe even let your gaze drop down to the mat, but keep pulling and opening. Even maybe press into your side ribs away from your extended leg. Now see if you can focus your breath into that left lung. Take another inhale. And then exhale, you're gonna release the strap, come forward, and extend your left arm forward, and then sweep it over your left hip. Reach out through your fingertips so that they hover about a foot over the mat. Now, if you were using your head, let your head release. Let your ear drop down to your shoulder. Move the stretch now up from shoulder to your ear. Pull your fingertips away. Breath in and breath out. One more inhale. And exhale, let your head get the heaviest yet. Bend your bottom elbow. Use your fingertips to cradle the side of your head and gently draw your torso back up. So your spine stacks. This finger comes down. And bring both hands down. Whew. We'll switch sides. Bringing your right foot in, heel lining up to the midline of your pelvis, and then extending your left leg out. So again, you can use a blanket underneath your knee, underneath your hips, wherever you need a little bit extra support, extra lift. So if your hips are tight, do it under your glutes. If your hamstring is tight, place it underneath that extended leg. All right, and then take your strap or your scarf, lasso that foot. And again, I like to do it right across the bottom so it hits the highest point of my arch. Set it out in front of you. Pull your heel in and then bring your left arm down to the inside of your left leg. Press that bottom arm against the leg so you find some integration, right? The muscles start to turn on, though nothing's really moving yet. And then extend your right arm out. Open up your fingers. Again, imagine as though somebody was throwing a basketball towards you, and then palm that basketball, let your arm drop back behind you. Relax your ear down towards your shoulder. Press down through that right outer hip. And then feel an expansion from the front to the front of your shoulder across your collarbones. You can inhale. Keep pressing that bottom arm into your extended leg and exhale. Notice if you have any tightness in your back as you draw both shoulder blades together. And then see if you can even pinpoint where that area is tight. Once we start getting into that side stretch, you might be able to breathe into that exact spot and find a little bit of release. All right. Draw your left hand back up so it stacks perpendicular to the floor. Draw your palm towards your extended toes, and now reach out in front of you. Grab both sides of that strap, and it can be loose at first, and then bring that arm back so it rainbows over your head. So it might look like, really high. That doesn't matter. In fact, this forearm might be way up on your inner thigh versus by your knee. You just want something that you can press into and still feel that side stretch. All right. Once you get your arm up overhead, you can start to finger your heel toe, but I guess this is finger palm down that strap. Work your way down that strap so you get a good tension. And then draw your bicep back. So your chest is equal front and back. Inhale, stretch your arm. Exhale, pull down. Maybe walk a little bit closer. Keep pressing down through that right outer hip. Inhale, maybe even pulling your torso slightly away. See if you can find that spot on your upper back that maybe was a little bit tight in that first position. Breathe into that spot. Relax your head or gaze underneath your bicep, whichever one works for you tonight better. Take a deep inhale and exhale. Now seeing if you can focus your breath into that right lung. Take another deep inhale. And then exhale, slowly release the straps. Draw the right fingertips forward and then trace the line of the horizon. Stretch your right fingertips out over your right hip. Keep your head super heavy. So now the stretch moves from the top of your shoulder up the outside of your neck, all the way to the bottom of your ear. Inhale, stretch with your fingers. Exhale, see if you can release. Find that grounding energy in your head. Inhale, stretch. And exhale, relax. Let the energy start to pool, start to calm. One more inhale. Exhale, bend the bottom elbow. Using your hands, slowly bring your torso back to upright. Nice. Let those fingers come down. Bring both hands down. And then bring your extended leg back in. Bring both knees into your chest. Pull your knees, straighten your spine. Take a breath in and a breath out. All right, so you can take that strap and move it out to the side. We won't need that again until our final pose. Instead, we're going to start moving into our flow for tonight. And so for Michelle, I know that you can't go up and down. So you can just stay in the lunge and stay really low on the mat. Everybody else, or if you're not working with some modifications tonight, you'll come to stand at the front of your mat. So Michelle, you could always do this on your knees and then omit the forward fold. All right. Inhale, stretch your arms up, press your feet down. Shine your palms forward. Then exhale, open your chest. Draw your elbow tips towards each other and shoulder blades together on your back. Inhale, stretch your arms up. And then exhale, slowly dip forward into Uttanasana, forward fold. We're going to stay in this forward fold to start for a couple breaths, opening up our hamstrings a little bit. So take this one a little bit wide, maybe even as wide as your mat. Bend your knees generously so that you hinge at your hips. And again, we're not straight leg rounding at the low back to get deep into our fold. Instead, let the lunar fluid quality already to start to enter your body. So maybe swaying a little bit from side to side, just getting a little bit curious about what's tight. Letting the breath roll over your body. Relax your neck. If it feels good to do a little neck traction, you can interlace your hands and cradle right at the back of your neck, letting your palms wrap around the base of your neck. Take another inhale. And if you have the neck traction, release your hands down. Bend your knees enough so that both hands come down to the mat. And you're going to step your right leg back into a nice long lunge. Tent up your fingertips, draw your left knee forward. Take an inhale. And exhale, hold your right leg straight. Maybe roll a little bit back, inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. You're going to take your right hand, plant it down to the inside of your left foot, and reach your left arm up for a revolved lunge. Press through your right hand. Inhale, stretch your left fingertips up. Again, remember that basketball. Open your palms and maybe let that left hand drop back a little bit. Take another inhale. Closing that circle, exhale, you're going to sweep your left hand all the way underneath your left hamstring. Like you're giving your body a hug and your leg is right in there with you. Inhale, open back up. And exhale, curl in. Hug that hamstring. One more time. Inhale. And exhale, curl in. Inhale, straighten that left arm up. And then you're going to pivot to the outside of your right leg, the back leg. You're going to pivot your left toes to the side of your mat. So you're still in that lunge. It's just the toes move to the left side of the mat. Now this is where you're going to get into maybe a little bit of your IT band. Drop your left hand back towards your right toes. Let your right shoulder shrug up to your right ear so you feel a full body stretch all the way on the outside edge of your right side. Inhale, stretch up overhead, press into your right hand, rainbow up, keeping the outside edge of your right foot grounded. Exhale, let the right hip drop down. Reach towards your back foot. We're going to do that one more time. Inhale. And exhale. Then inhale, come up. Plant both hands to the inside of your front left foot. Now you're going to open up to the side of the mat, pivoting onto the heel of your back foot. So like I said at first, we're going to move through this really slow. There's a lot of movements. You might feel a little bit lost. Don't worry. It's going to just start to feel natural as we keep doing these transitions. So we're in Skandasana. Left leg is pointed towards the front of your mat. Right foot is anchored down, heel down, toes up, both hands to the inside. Inhale, come through center. Exhale to the back. Now I like to keep my hands to the inside of my knee, letting that scoop the knee back. We'll transition back and forth a couple times. Inhale through center. Exhale to the front. Inhale through center. Exhale to the back. Front and back of the mat are going to start to blur after a while. So once your right foot is planted, left toes are up towards the wall, you're going to start to pivot, coming into a lunge now towards the back of your mat. Keep both of your hands to the inside of your right foot. Take a breath in and out. All right, so in runner's lunge here, both hands to the inside. I want you to keep that right shoulder, so here's the front view, glued to the right inner knee. Try and keep that whole right foot planted on the floor. Maybe lower your left knee down. Maybe start to walk your hands a little bit more forward, potentially getting all the way down to your forearms. Or maybe just hovering those elbows off the mat. Again, see if you can press down more through the inside of your right foot so that you don't roll out. Take a breath in and out. And then if your left back knee is not lowered, lower that now. Start to move your hands back and straighten your right leg. You're gonna bring your hands back so that your knee and your hip stack, and then move the right hand to the outside of the right shin. For Hanumanasana half splits. Pull both hip points back behind you and keep your hips stacked over that left knee. Maybe walk your chest a little bit forward and maybe eventually bend your elbows. Now, if your hamstrings are like, whew, that is a lot, you can always take a water bottle or some kind of hard prop like a can of soup, something, and place that to the inside of your shin. A yoga block could also work. Your breath in and the breath out. One more inhale and exhale. Inhale, come back forward, bend your front knee, plant both hands, and then you're gonna bring that right foot back to the left to match. Keep your hips stacked over your knees, walk your hands forward and melt your chest down. This is called Hatta puppy pose. So imagine stretching out long, bring your forehead down to the mat. Take a breath in and a breath out. Then more inhale and exhale. On the bottom of your exhale, lift your gaze, slither forward into Cobra, press your feet down. Inhale, rise up, low Cobra. Exhale, lower, move your hands just out to the side, elbow tips up. Inhale, wide, low Cobra. And exhale, lower down. Move your hands forward and in. Inhale, rise up. This is kind of like a Sphinxy Cobra. Exhale, lower down. Bring your hands under your shoulders, tuck your toes. Inhale, press up and back, down dog. Look forward. Exhale, slowly walk yourself to the front of your mat. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, rise up. Hastasana, hands overhead, hands lifted. Exhale, open your chest, palms wide. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana, forward fold. All right, we're gonna get a little bit into those IT bands. So here in your forward fold, you're gonna take your right leg, swing it around the back of your left. So now so we said right leg. So the outside of your feet are now matching. The pinky will actually kind of come in, so they're almost like they're puzzle pieces matching. And then fold forward. Maybe start to walk your hands a little bit over to the left side. We have right behind the left, and then walk your hands over to the right or the left side. So that'll deepen the stretch. This front leg can bend slightly. See if you can keep the back leg mostly straight. Inhale, bring your hands back to center. Unwind your legs, hip width distance apart. And then you'll take the left leg behind the right. So again, that foot is just a little bit farther back. It's almost like they're continents meeting, right? There's a little gap, but that pinky edge comes to the tiniest part of your front foot. Inhale, exhale, fold. Maybe start to walk your hands over to the right. So you feel a deeper stretch from the outside of your back knee to the outside of your back hip. Another breath in and breath out. One more, inhale. Exhale, slowly come back to center. Unwind your feet, wide leg, or hip width distance rather, forward fold. We're gonna move on to the next side. Step your left leg back, coming into a nice long lunge. And we're gonna move kind of slow. This is the second side, so we get just as much nice juiciness and muscle memory on this side. Tense your fingertips, pull your chest through. Keep that left leg super straight. Inhale into your lunge. Exhale. And again, this is lunar. So if it feels good to rock a little bit forward and back, you can take some liberties. Just make sure that you're breathing and it's really synced up with your breath. And you're going to plant the left hand down inside the right foot. Inhale, stretch your right arm up. And imagine you're palming that maybe normal size, maybe baby size basketball. Inhale, exhale, drop that right arm back. Pinch your shoulder blades together. So you're not letting that hand drop down, but instead you're drawing your shoulder blades together on your back and then opening up in the front body. Getting expansive in your shoulders. That's going to be key later on. Take another inhale. And then exhale, swing that right arm down underneath your right hamstring. Hug it in tight. Inhale, right arm up like a crescent moon, and then exhale, arcing down. Pull up. Keep your left leg super strong. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, extend your right arm up. This is where we get a little tricky with the legs. So you drop your left heel down and pivot on your right heel so that your right toes and left toes are facing towards the right side of your mat. Left palm stays planted, and you let your hips on that right side start to shrug down. Extend your right hand towards your back leg. So again, you might feel a little bit of an IT band stretch, especially at the head, which is on the outside of your hip. Inhale, arc up, press into that left hand so you're rainbowing and pulling your hips up. And then exhale, down. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Last time. Inhale up. And exhale down. All right, from here we move into Skandasana. Inhale up. Plant your right hand by your left. Pivot on that back foot. So now your heel grounds down. And find a deep bend in your right front leg. All right, if you were like, Skandasana was fun, I want to do hands up, doing a little bit of balance, you can do that this side. Bring your palms together. You can also keep your hands down as you walk forward and back on your mat. Inhale, press into that front foot, transition through center, and then exhale, bend the left knee. And so you might not come very far down. Just start to move with your breath. Take about 5 breaths. Maybe transitioning or maybe taking 2 breaths on each side. Eventually, meeting with our left knee bent, palms down, right leg extended. Nice. Now from here, we're gonna move into that runner's lunge. So bring both hands down, start to pivot. Hands to the inside of the left leg, right toes down. So you're back at the front of your mat. Runner's lunge. Now you want your left shoulder and left knee to get Velcroed together. All right. Keep your body long and in a direction to the front and the back of your mat, pulling in towards center. So we're not dropping out to the side like nuclear pigeon. That's for another class. Instead, we're keeping everything tight on that tightrope. And then if it feels good, lower down that back right knee. Maybe walk your palms forward. Maybe bend the elbows. Maybe bring your forearms down. And take 3 breaths. Once you find that good runner's lunge. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Slow, steady exhale. Last time, in through the nose. And out through your nose. Then walk your hands in under your shoulders, and if your back knee isn't bent and grounded, place it down on the mat now. Start to walk yourself back, straightening your left leg, grounding down that left heel and curling your left toes off the mat. Take the left hand to the outside of your left shin, Hanumanasana. Pull your left femur head back. So it's grounding into your pelvis. And then keeping your hip and your knee lined up, start to fold over your extended leg. So again, it's really important here that you're hinging at your hips and not just rolling in, letting your chin drop. Because this position, getting like, yes, I'm folding, my forehead is almost to my kneecap, is not doing anything to increase any sensation in your hamstring. Instead, hinging at the hip, where you pull the hamstring head farther away from its orientation. Now that is where the flexibility starts to become challenged. So if it's a really small hinge, but it's still happening at the hips and our spine is straight, that is why we're going for that kind of alignment. That kind of acute awareness as to what's going in my body. Does it look like I'm doing the pose, but it doesn't feel any harder? Or am I actively finding that hinge, feeling that increased sensation at my hamstring? All right, take a couple more breaths. So we've got a lot of muscle memory. We're gonna start to move a little bit quicker now through these motions, get a little bit more fluid. Inhale, come forward, plant your left foot down. And then you're gonna sweep it back, match your knees. Keep your knees and your hips stacked, walk your hands forward, forehead down on a Hatta Asana. Open your chest, take a breath in. And a breath out. Keep your elbow tips lifted, hands grounded down. Then inhale. Exhale, slither forward onto your belly. Ground your feet down. Inhale, press up, Cobra. We're gonna do those 3 different Cobras. Exhale, lower down, arms out wide. Inhale, rise up, Cobra. Exhale, lower down, hands forward. Inhale, rise up, Cobra. And then when we move forward into a little bit faster, more fluid, choose which one you like best. Tuck your toes, inhale, press up and back, down dog. Take a breath in. And then exhale, slowly walk your way to the front of your mat. Inhale, rise up, Hastasana. Exhale, cactus your arms, press your feet down. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, fold. Fingertips come down. Sweep the left leg behind the right. Inhale. Exhale, walk your hands over to the right. Inhale, center, unwind your legs. Exhale, right leg behind the left. Take a breath in. Exhale, walk your hands over to the left. Inhale, back to center. Feet hip width distance apart. Exhale, step your right foot back. Inhale, pull your chest forward, find your high lunge. Plant your right hand down. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, curl your left arm in, hug your hamstring. Inhale, extend your left arm up. Pivot on your toes and your heels so that they're facing the left side. Drop your left hand towards your back foot. Inhale, arc up like a rainbow. One more time. Exhale, fingers towards your back toe and right hip drops down. Inhale, arc up, plant both hands. Find Skandasana at the front of your mat. Inhale, come through center. Exhale, Skandasana at the back of your mat. Plant your hands down. Pivot, find a runner's lunge at the back of your mat. Inhale. Exhale, lower your back knee down. Slowly start to straighten your front leg, peeling your right toes back. Hanumanasana, inhale. Exhale, find an increased sensation with a little fold. Then inhale, come back forward, plant your hands, slide your right foot back to meet your left. Walk your hands forward. Exhale, melt your heart down on a Hatta Asana. Inhale. Exhale, slither forward onto your belly. Inhale, take your favorite low cobra. Hands under the chest, out wide or out in front. And exhale, lower down. Hands under your shoulders, tuck your toes. Inhale, press up and back. Take an inhale. Exhale, slowly walk to the front of your mat. Uttanasana, forward fold. Press through your feet. Inhale, press all the way up to standing. Exhale, open your chest, cactus your arms. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, fold. Take your right foot, swing it behind your left. Take a breath in. Exhale, walk hands over to the left. Inhale, come back to center. Unwind your legs. And then exhale, left leg behind the right. Take a breath in. I like to do a little halfway lift. And then exhale, fold, deepen. Walk your fingers over to the right. Inhale, come back to center. Straighten your legs. And then step the left leg back. Find a nice long lunge. Fingertips down. Inhale, pull your chest forward. Exhale, plant your left hand down. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, sweep that right arm underneath your right hamstring. Curl in. Inhale, lift your right arm up. Pivot toes to the right side. Exhale, drop your left foot down. Fingertips towards your back leg. Inhale, rainbow up. One more time, we're gonna let our hand reach towards our back leg. Inhale, pivot. Coming all the way to Skandasana, both hands to the inside of your right leg. Inhale, make your transition to the front of your mat. Hands down. And then pivot into your runner's lunge. Inhale. Exhale, lower your right knee down. Inhale. Exhale, start to straighten your left leg. Hanumanasana. Take another breath in. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, come forward. Plant your hands. Sweep your left knee back to meet your right. And then slowly lower your chest down. Hanumanasana, which means heart melting. Hatta pose. Inhale. Exhale, slither forward onto your belly. Place your hands in the favorite position. Inhale, rise up, low cobra variation. And exhale, fold. Plant your hands, tuck your toes, press up and back, downward facing dog. All right, from here, hold. Take a breath in, bend your knees gently, and exhale, breath out. Inhale, and exhale. All right, look up at your hands. I want your hands to be shoulder width distance apart. So they look like French fries all the way up to your shoulders. And then I'm going to cue us dropping both elbows at the same time gently down to the floor, pressing back dolphin. If you don't like that, you can bring your knees down and then set your forearms down to make that transition. So pick your poison tonight for this transition. And then exhale, bringing your elbows down. Then lifting your knees back up. Spread your fingers, press your palms down into the mat, and reach your chest back towards your shins. Take a breath in. Feel your upper back expand. Exhale, reach your chest through your arms. So a lot like Hatta Asana, heart melting pose. Your chest is coming down between your biceps. The crown of your head stays lifted, hovering over the mat. And you keep a gentle bend in your knees, but walk your hip points up as high as they'll go. Take a breath in and a breath out. We're going to transition back to downward facing dog. So either bring your knees down and then straighten your arms, or lift your gaze to your palms, press your hands into the mat, slowly straighten your arms. Take a breath in and out in your downward facing dog. Then gaze forward, step your left foot wide of your left hand and your right foot wide of your right hand. Lower your hips down, coming into Malalasana. Elbows to the inside of your knees, palms together at heart center. Breath in and a breath out. Inhale. See if you can lift the crown of your head, straighten your spine, press more through your feet. Find that lifting energy. And then exhale. Feel all of your energy calmly pool back down the base of your spine. Feel your heels ground down into the mat. One more inhale. And then exhale, slowly bring your hands down. And you're gonna lower yourself down onto the mat. All right. So hopefully everything around your femur head feels real nice and juicy from that good flow back and forth. We're gonna get our strap and find our final pose. So it's going to incorporate chest opening, which I think we did a lot of that. So we know this feeling of drawing our shoulder heads back, finding a nice open wingspan, and some mobility around the hips. So you're gonna take your left foot in, just like we found in Yantrasana, and then take your right foot, flex your toes, and actually cradle it. So one hand to the outside of your knee, one hand to the outside of your foot. You want to make sure your foot is active so that all the way up your leg to the outside of your knee is supported. And then just rotate, find any kinks or tightness around that femur head in your hip socket. And then we did this for that crazy arm balance, Skandasana, Patagonia, where we wore our leg like a backpack. We're gonna do that again. All right, so you're gonna take your right hand and hook your thumb pointer finger underneath your heel. Start to put that foot over your shoulder like a backpack. And you're gonna feel kind of some rounding in the back. It's just gonna happen as we prep ourselves into this pose. The hope is though, that once we move this leg out of the way, we can find that spinal extension. All right, so from here, you're gonna take that hand that was on the foot and find your strap. Place it around the foot. So again, I've got it right across the middle, and then both sides of the strap into your left hand. Right hand is still under the calf or under the shin. You're gonna slowly start to straighten that leg. And so you let the strap be as long as it needs to, yeah? Then this hand that was underneath your calf or your ankle, plant it down. Use that hand to shove that leg back out of the way and then straighten. Press through your hips to find length. And then eventually maybe this arm goes behind your head. This is called Sundial pose. So again, you can let that strap be as long as you want. You know, maybe you're barely getting that leg off the ground. Totally fine. All right. Eventually, what it might look like is hands to the outside of the foot. And a little bit more like that. Kind of maybe a little bit more like a sundial. So if you want to try that variation, go ahead. If you want to take a little break between sides, go ahead and come down. But just to give you, again, what that could look like without the strap. Once you get here, wearing your leg like a backpack, you'll actually take your hand across the top of your foot, grab the outside of your foot, so again, over the top. And then as you start to straighten that leg, plant the right hand down and it's a little bit more upright, like a sundial. All right. Slowly release, come down. So it's a lot of compression on one side body too, and then lengthening on the other. So let's just grab both knees, find a comfortable seated position, and just roll your torso. Roll your shoulders. Let it get really fluid. Roll the other direction. And then let's try this crazy pretzel on the other side. All right. So you're gonna take your right foot, draw it in so your heel lines up with the midline of your body. Sit up nice and tall to start. You know, we will get really tight, but then poof, it's an explosion at the end, right? Want to really press down through your hips, through that grounded arm to extend. All right, and then let's take this left leg, flex your foot, grab around the outside, cradle the outside of your knee, and then just roll and warm up even more around your femur head. Yeah, nice. A lot of legs moving, I like it. All right, you want to make sure that, again, that strap is somewhere that's easy to grab. You're going to start to move this left hand to the inside. So I like to first start by putting it underneath my heel, and then eventually working my way up my calf until the back of my knee is over my shoulder. It's a very compressed position. It's not very comfortable, very heavy backpack. All right, so it can be anywhere along the way, but if you want to have that leg essentially as straight up as possible, the key is to getting that knee over your shoulder. All right, and then everybody, let's do it with the strap the first time. Even if you're an old pro at Sundial, because it really can help you feel that openness in your chest, the expansion, right? All right, and then with your both sides of the strap, in your right hand, you're gonna slowly start to straighten that leg. And then with the arm that was on the bottom, out to the side, palm it down, and then start to straighten. So use this arm to really hold back the leg, kind of like we do in Malalasana or Skandasana. Open your shoulder. Maybe eventually. And so if you want to try this without the strap or just want to come into it a second time, because you can kind of slip out, you know, come back, ground down both hips, and then work this left leg over your shoulder. You'll slide your hand across the top of your foot, grab the outside edge, flex, start to straighten, and then press your arm down. Woo, Sundial pose. Take a breath in. And then whenever you're ready to come out, slowly release. Take the opposite cross of legs. Roll one side. And then the other. All right, and then we're gonna lower ourselves down onto the mat. Make sure you still have your strap nearby. Extend your right leg, bring your left leg in, put the strap across the bottom of your left foot. And if this is too much, then bend your right knee, plant your right foot down. You wanna be able to have the left leg directly over the left hip. And then with one hand on either side of the strap, shoulder heads still resting on the mat, you're gonna pull straight down. So this is anchoring your femur head back in the socket. Take an inhale, press through that leg. And then exhale, let up about to 70%. Feel your femur head dropping back down. Another breath in and out. And slowly release the strap on the left side. Let the left foot down. Reach the right leg up, lasso underneath that foot. Either keep the left knee bent, foot grounded, or extend the left leg out. So again, I'm gonna make sure your shoulder heads stay on the mat. Reach both arms up for either side of your strap or scarf. And you want that right leg to be directly over your head. So it's perpendicular to the ground, 90-90. Both hands on either side of the strap, in. And exhale, pull down. Inhale, press through the right leg. Then exhale, keep integration, but you can release some of that pressing. So I like to call it, like 70%. So we're not a limp noodle leg, but we're not pushing away. Inhale, press, find that prana, lifting, energetic wind of Vayu. And then exhale. Upon a grounding, especially here, right? The right femur head grounds back into the hip and your hips feel grounded in the mat. And bend your right leg. Slowly release both legs wide and then you can open them out. Let both hands release down by your side. Breath in. And a breath out. Inhale from your toes. Move your breath across your body, just feeling into your knees, your hips, your fingers, belly, shoulders, head. And then exhale, work your way back down. Head, shoulders, hips, knees, toes. One more time, inhale, scanning up the body. And exhale, scanning down the body. And gently pull your knees into your chest. Roll to one side. And gently press yourself up to a comfortable seat, taking your time. Thank you all so much for joining Patagonia's community yoga class this Wednesday, St. Patrick's Day. Hope you have fun, safe evening planned if you are celebrating. And if you really found that lunar flow juicy, then maybe let it just kind of carry you off to a more relaxing, chill evening. I'll drop the link to the playlist in the chat. And I probably will take about a day or two to get tonight's recording up in there, but you can see the last 6. Thank you so much. Namaste.